We begin with a survey released this morning that reveals where Canadians stand on irregular border crossings by asylum seekers. The debate has divided federal leaders, and a poll suggests the confidence in Justin Trudeau's ability to handle this issue is waning. And that's good news for Conservatives with a federal election on the horizon. CBC poll analyst Eric Grenier has the details in Ottawa.
The new poll suggests that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau might be losing the political battle over irregular border crossers. The survey was conducted by the Angus Reid Institute between July 25th and July 30th, surveying 1,500 Canadians over the internet. It showed that 2/3 of respondents believe that the number of border crossers is more than the country can handle. Just 29% believe it is a manageable number. It also showed that the number of Canadians who believe that the system is too generous to asylum seekers has increased by 5 points over the last year to 58%. It is a political issue for the Liberals. The survey found that among the major party leaders, 48% would choose Andrew Scheer, the leader of the Conservative Party, as the best person to handle the issue of border crossers. Justin Trudeau came in second with just 35%, followed by NDP leader Jagmeet Singh at 16%. We've also recently seen a poll by the Abacus Data that showed that among those Canadians who were looking for a change of government, immigration and refugees was a top issue. It was the second top issue for them, motivating their desire for this change. Now, this has been a big political fight between the Liberals and the Conservatives over the summer. The Conservatives are calling this a crisis. The Liberals say that it is a challenge, but not one that they can't handle. Politically, we'll see how much of an issue this will be going into the 2019 federal election. We've seen that the number of refugees crossing the border has decreased over the summer, but the political fight has increased as the months go on. This could be an issue going into that next year election, and these numbers suggest that it is one that could be damaging to Justin Trudeau and the Liberals. Eric Grenier, CBC News, Ottawa.
So it seems most Canadians are on side with the Conservatives about irregular border crossings. And while there is no doubt that this will continue to be a hot-button political issue, what do the numbers show? Laura McQuillan is here with those details. Good morning, Laura. What do you know?
Good morning, John. Well, we've been looking closely at the numbers on this morning. And first of all, I can take you through the numbers for RCMP interceptions at Canada's border. We have seen that they are on the rise. In 2016, there were, and we can bring those numbers up for you, in 2016 there were 2,486 interceptions at the border. Now that spiked dramatically in 2017, up to 20,000. And then so far this year, just to June, 10,000, more than 10,000. So that is tracking to be higher than last year to see that spike continue. As Eric Grenier mentioned, interceptions have fallen back to June this year. They dropped by half within a matter of a month, from 2,500 to 1,200. And we don't know the reasons for that drop, and we'll have to wait and see whether that trend continues. But the government has contributed that fallback to its outreach. It's appealed to people not to cross the border from the US to Canada. But the big question here is can Canada's immigration system handle these numbers? And so if we take a look at the historic numbers of asylum claimants, you can see there in the early 2000s, up to 44,000 or beyond crossing the border and claiming asylum. Now, in 2017, that number rose to 50,000, but we have seen that spike in the past. And one of the big concerns at this point in time is about housing. Where can people stay when they cross the border? We have seen thousands of asylum seekers being put up in shelters, in university dorms in places like Montreal and Toronto, while their claims are processed. But at this point in time, the government is saying it's a challenge, not a crisis. It says it wants to accept 100,000 new immigrants every year by 2030 if it's going to sustain its economic growth. We know it also has high refugee and protected persons targets. This year it wants about 43,000 refugees and protected persons. That's going to rise to 48,700 in 2020. So it does have capacity to take a lot of people in, but we have also seen with these numbers claiming asylum or getting refugee status that just under half were actually accepted last year. 47% accepted. The rest were actually rejected or withdrawn. So the numbers are a movable feast, and really we're going to have to keep an eye on how that trend goes going forward, whether the numbers crossing the border continues to decline as we saw to June, whether it continues to rise. But either way, John, this is a political hot potato at this point in time.
Thanks for this, Laura.
You're welcome.